The Phobia Special.
It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown and community supported. For other fun programming, please check out albertapodcastnetwork.com, where you can find shows like Scam Time with the Fraud Broads.
Now I can't forget to do it.
Okay, yeah, don't forget to do that.
It's like Republica. Ready to go.
Ready to get it on. Get it on. Okay, so this is our Phobias special.
Phobias.
I've recently developed a severe phobia of elevators. In fact, I'm taking steps to avoid them. Yeah. So, welcome back to the It's a Conspiracy podcast show. This is the podcast where we lay out the beliefs behind select conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more. I'm your host, Andrew, and I do not claim to be an expert on anything we're going to discuss today, and will probably be wrong about everything because I rushed putting this thing together despite having all of the time off since our last session. I don't know how that happened, but I've been on vacation for about 2 weeks now. It was glorious. It was smoky in BC, but it was absolutely glorious and really nice.
My God, man, you just got out of BC?
We just came back from BC, and it was yeah,
crazy over there.
Real pretty, and it's like I'm glad we were there, because if we were there a couple more days, they'd probably be like showing up in the middle of the night, like, oh, we got to get you out of here.
Yeah, man.
Also playing into our accuracy factor tonight, this has to be pointed out. This is the latest we've ever recorded, surely.
This is the latest, and don't call me Shirley.
Okay, I'm sorry, Charlie. I apologize. This is definitely the latest, surely.
Oh, man, don't have to tell me. I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay, well, let's wrap this up.
No, let's do it.
For Greg hops on the snooze caboose.
And this has been our Phobia special. Thanks for tuning in to It's a Conspiracy. We'll see you next time. Bye. I think we really got it there, guys.
Oh, man. If you'd like to see where we stuffed in the nightmare clowns haunting your every waking moment, then please check out the episode description. Charlie, he's a little quiet about this, but he actually he dreads others not seeing and acknowledging his hard work, and he just wants you to look at it. So go ahead and take a look at it.
Just look at it.
Lastly, we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported, and awesome. Yay, team.
Yeah.
You can check us out at itsaconspiracypodcast.com. Our Twitter at isitaconspiracy, that's run by the social media influencer Scottish Madman. Our Facebook group, our Instagram page, It's a Conspiracy Podcast, that's run by Greg. Our email and our Patreon page, patreon.com/
It's a Conspiracy.
That was magical. That was absolutely magical. Do you still have like the low voice one? It's a conspiracy.
No, that's a different thing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Voice modulator.
I didn't know what it was.
That's for special occasions, Andy.
Okay. Joining the online distance communication time today is Greg the Gorgeous and Charles the Charming. These immaculately spiced donaires will interject as they see fit, and I do appreciate their sweet sauce company. Oh, yeah. Now, Charles, with a yes or no, can you tell me if you've heard of quadrither of these theories here?
What? Wow, you're really
So many.
over-preparing. Let's do this.
Yeah, we're packing in all of the information.
Yep.
Number 1, 10 fun facts about phobias.
Nope.
Okay. Number 2, Andrew's phobia.
Hard no.
Okay, number 3, Charlie's phobia.
Certainly not.
Okay, number 4, Greg's phobia.
Yep, that one I've heard about.
You've heard of Greg's phobia, but not your own. Okay.
Don't question me.
I'm sorry.
Just look at the show notes. That's all I want.
So, subject number 1, 10 fun facts about phobias.
10 fun facts about phobias.
Now, the real fun fact here is that phobia, as you guys know, is spelled with a PH. So when it says in the description, it'll say fun facts. It'll be like PH fun.
Fun facts about
Yeah,
phobias.
with like PH facts.
It's like fat, but with a pH.
Yeah. Number 1, phobias are a fear and a phobia are not the same thing. We're all terrified of a lunatic waving a chainsaw at you in the middle of the night while you run half-dressed and bloodied with your feet shackled together down the alley. However, that doesn't mean that you have some kind of irrational fear of chainsaw lunatics or being half-dressed or alleys or feet. It just means that you're scared in that situation. A phobia is a specific and overwhelming fear of objects or situations, or a lack of being acknowledged for your hard work in the episode description. I'll go ahead and check that out there. Number 2, phobias are... There are more than 400 types of recognized phobias, and likely thousands more. The most common ones are things like, the pronunciation coming up here is, heights, which is acrophobia, flying, aviophobia, enclosed spaces, that's claustrophobia, a fear of Santa Claus, that's also claustrophobia.
I think that's actually pronounced claustrophobia.
There are actually a few lesser ones, such as ablutophobia, which is the fear of bathing. And I'm just going to run at this one here. Arachibutyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. And then one here, a little shout out to Kaylee Cardinal. She suffers from this, globophobia, which is the fear of balloons. Or, and I think we can all feel this one in our secret place, nomophobia, which is the fear of losing your cell phone. That's a thing.
What?
Yeah.
What
all right,
about,
number
what about phobophobia?
The fear of phobia, the fear of fear itself.
That's right.
That's a good
That almost
one.
kept me from doing this whole assignment.
Is it truly the the fear of palindromes? Is like the phobia is the same thing spelled backwards and forwards?
That would be amazing. I don't know you might have to look that one up.
I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember it.
I have a fear of palindromes. Number 3, phobias are the longest registered phobia. I'm just going to run at this one here. Okay. Hippopotomonstrosis quipedaliophobia. That is, ironically, the fear of long words. So I don't know what sick bastard came up with that title for it, but that's like the longest word I've ever heard. Again, I'm going to say that one more time. So this is the fear of long words. Hippopotomonstrosis quipedaliophobia.
Yeah. Don't be so hippopotamonsto, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be a quipedaliophobia either.
Now here's a fun little thing for Greg. I just dropped into the chat the fear of palindromes. If you want to take a run at that.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. I thought you were going to cover it.
Greg, let's hear it.
Abaphobia?
Abophobia?
Abaphobia?
That's it. Fear of palindromes, forward and
Fear of
backward.
palindromes.
Yeah.
Any which way you look at it, it's scary.
Yeah.
That's.
But I conquered that fear.
You nailed it.
Because it wasn't a phobia. See what I learned?
Number 4, phobias are more serious than we generally give them credit for. Phobias can lead to the avoidance of social situations, persistent anxiety or panic attacks, the inability to work, and the advancement of other, perhaps more serious psychiatric conditions. So if you have a phobia, you should treat it with respect, but don't let it run your life. Number 5, phobias can be overcome. So typically phobias are thought to be like chronic, long-lasting. Maybe they grow in intensity as you get older, but they can be overcome through strategies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, that's Charlie's favorite kind of therapy, and behavior.
I always ask first.
Behavior and cognitive strategies to manage anxiety and panic. So, CBTs, I believe, is the shortened version of that. You can go to therapy and get some help with your phobias. Unless you're afraid of therapy, then what are you going to do? Number 6. Phobias can be passed down through DNA. So the actual process of getting a phobia is hard to pin down, but there may be specific phobias. In fact, the one that I'm going to talk about later on of my own phobia rainbow that are passed through our genetic lines. This can explain why you almost threw up the first time you saw a clown riding the bus. So,
Yeah, but how would you get on the roof? That's what I want to ask.
you didn't know you were afraid of that until you saw it. Number 7, phobias are, speaking of clowns, stuck on the roof of the bus. Coulrophobia is the fear of clowns. That's a real thing. Do you guys like clowns?
They're fine. I wish they'd stop hanging out in my closets and under my bed, but they're fine.
Yeah, man.
I never really understood the whole like creepy clowns hanging around like, in the middle of nowhere.
Here's what I think is the most creepiest about creepy clowns. Those crazy McDonald's commercials we watched way back when.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, the Japanese.
Yeah. That nails creepy clowns for me.
There was that weird clown kind of international panic there. I don't know, 2015 maybe, where clowns
that's
were
what
popping
I
up.
was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clown plague.
Like grown men with white faces just kind of lumbering out of the woods with like a bunch of balloons. Like, that's terrifying. I'm sorry. That's so
like Pennywise and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Want to play a game?
So if the slightest mention of clowns gives you nausea, panic, anxiety, sweating palms, shaking, dry mouth, feelings of dread, difficulty breathing, increased heartbeat, screaming, crying, becoming angry, or becoming involuntarily sexually aroused, then you may have chlorophobia.
Or also stop taking clowns, See a doctor and stop taking clowns.
Fear boners.
Oh, man, totally. Yeah, so that's what that's talking about there. And just a quick tip here, if you are attacked by a clown and you need to defend yourself, then just remember to go straight for the juggler.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. Finally, phobias can take strange forms and set on when you least realize it. Like I've said, I've got a bit of a phobia rainbow myself, and I've suffered from something called arithmophobia, which is the fear of counting. And that takes us to our 10th fun fact.
It all makes perfect sense now.
That makes it's all adding up. Yeah, phobias are closely tied to individual cultures and societies. So one article from the Atlantic I was looking at stated that the greatest phobia in Russia and Brazil is nuclear weapons. The greatest fear in England, India, Kenya, and the Ivory Coast are religious and ethnic hatred. And oddly, despite a complete lack of snakes for the most part, the biggest fear in Canada is snakes. So
sneaky.
Yeah, but like we have no snakes. I don't know why everybody's afraid of snakes.
We have some
Got
snakes.
some
There's
garter
some-
snakes.
But we don't have there's countries where there are giant snakes that will swallow like an entire family, and you can watch them being digested. Here we have like garter snakes here.
And the snakes, they have snakes that dress up like clowns and chase after people.
Oh.
So that's some serious business.
Snakes. Are you guys okay with snakes?
Not really.
I never really met a snake.
Yeah. I feel like I would love. I've never cuddled one, but I'd love to.
I'd rather not.
There's a snake behind you, Greg. It's coming in your window. Yo, so that's 10 fun facts about phobias. Yay. And that's going to take us to ad number 1, the good people at Roomy.
Hi there, I'm Brendan, a certified home inspector with Roomy. Do you have a problem that needs fixing? Whether it's big or small, inside or outside, let me help you find out what's really going on. You can call me by phone, or we can take a look together over video chat. Visit roomy.ca, that's RUMI.ca, and go to Ask a Home Inspector to book your appointment with me today.
Should we bring back the 10 fun facts about phobias thing that we used to do?
Do you want to do the song?
10 fun facts about phobias.
Phobia.
It's been a while since we've done that.
We haven't done that for a while. Yeah, so I think we could probably record that and stick it in. All right, so this is subject number 2. This is the Andrewphobia.
Fear of Andrews.
Yeah. No, I would understand an Andrewphobia. My real fear, personally, is of German sausages. They're the worst. Okay, so
even though I knew the joke was coming.
Walked right into it.
Yeah.
All hilarity aside, a few months ago I was listening to a podcast where an Australian guy was discussing how he had recently found the term for a fear he didn't realize he had. It's something that's it's not included in the 400 plus registered phobias and is in fact a bit of a debate in the scientific community. It's called trypophobia and is generally described as the fear of clustered holes, bumps, and similar patterns. I looked up the phobia after I was listening to this, and I was amazed. Looking at these pictures and what the guy was talking about, I was like, I felt like he was describing exactly how I felt, and I just immediately thought of the countless times that I have been like totally repulsed to the point of being nauseous by images. I'll just show you guys a few here. So things, just before we show you there's nothing like freaky about it. Like, I'm not going to show you guys a bunch of weird clowns and like sexual positions. It's not going to be anything strange. This is going to be like lotus fruit, frogs, honeycombs, sprouts, roots, even certain soap bubbles. There's something about it that just triggers something really deep and frightening. It's not an overwhelming panic, and it's not brought on by previous trauma. So the theory is that people that have this, it's more of an evolutionary phobia that we are passed via our DNA, if you believe in DNA. So, okay, so here's a couple pictures. Let me just share this here. So if this grosses you right out, then you
log right off.
You might have trypophobia too. Okay.
Are you saying that the jury's still out on DNA?
I'd be surprised, I think.
Yeah, I think there are people that are. Are you one of those DNA believers, Charlie? Okay, so this is a gross one. So trypophobia means like holes and bumps and spikes and stuff like that in nature. So the neck of this plucked pheasant.
Are you a pheasant plucker?
I'm not a pheasant plucker, and I find this very unpheasant to look at. So there's that one. This one is probably the worst for me personally. This is a black drum fish's mouth. So the teeth are like, they've fallen out. So this type of fish loses its
freaks
teeth.
You out?
Yeah, and this is what it looks like when the teeth have fallen out.
Oh boy, that's a lot of teeth. Teething's a bitch with that.
The skin from a chicken's foot. So there's like, it almost looks like honeycomb patterns. There's another one of the very same one there. And then
we're gonna have to put all of these pictures on our Instagram, by the way.
I'll put one up on Instagram for sure. So this one here is freshly bloomed lotus pods. This is probably the worst for whatever reason for me personally.
That looks beautiful.
Dude, I don't even know why. I'm trying not to look at it right now while I'm sharing this video.
Take a good close look at it, pal.
It just looks like it's gonna pop open and just weird juices are gonna shoot out on me. Like it
looks like a Friday night.
Ugh. So it's disgusting. It just grosses me out. So
how do you feel about Swiss cheese?
Yeah, it's.
Does that do it for you?
It you can't see through it, and it's random, and it's not like, it needs to be kind of like colored and textured. So it's funny you should mention cheese though, because the thinking is that the phobia here is one of the oldest parts of our brains is trying to steer us away from something that's poisonous or rotten. So the fact that a number of things in nature displaying these traits are venomous would kind of support that, like a frog with like a colorful thing on its back that looks like that is
danger frog.
It's a danger frog. That's right. So the personal example I have of this, which is ridiculous, it's totally irrational, and I completely acknowledge the humor of the situation. Something I didn't realize until I started teaching was you watch these time-lapse videos of like bean sprouts growing through the soil,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
hate that shit, eh?
I can't.
Are you kidding me? That's one of the most fascinating videos there are
Totally.
of like mushrooms time lapsed and they're all growing.
Dude, you're freaking me out, man. Just talking about it.
I forgot about that.
I know, it's so, and just the kids are like, "Oh, it's so cool. Nature's so great." And I'm like, "What? Oh, turn it off." And it's just so repulsive. And the Australian guy on the podcast, the one he was talking about, and I've never seen this either, but I looked up a clip of it and I was like, that is so gross. It was somebody popping the pearls out of an oyster and like watching this little bump travel along underneath this membrane and then shoot out. I was like, that is the grossest. Like, I don't even know why, but it's just part of my lizard brain being like, that's poisonous. Yeah. So anyways, that's
just don't eat it.
Have you tried not being afraid of this horrifying thing? Yeah. So that's going to take us to ad numero 2, Taproot.
This episode of It's a Conspiracy is brought to you by Taproot Edmonton, which publishes curiosity-driven stories, topical newsletters, and locally focused podcasts, all in the service of informing Edmontonians about their community. Want to start your day informed? Check out The Pulse, Taproot's new daily news briefing. The Pulse tells you what you need to know about Edmonton every weekday morning. You'll get short, informative updates about what's happening in City Hall, plus coverage of business, tech, food, the arts, and more. You'll also get a little bit of whimsy from features such as A Moment in History, Chart of the Week, and the Friday Podcast Pick. And it's free. Sign up today at taprootedmonton.ca/pulse. That's taprootedmonton.ca/pulse.
Okay, we're back. Oh, that was fun. I feel better. I'm glad that we're done now because
You got it out? You feel better now that you talked about it?
So, Charlie, what are you going to phobia to talk to us about phobias?
All right, well, I'll try to get through this one.
Ugh.
But I'm going to talk to you about Gammaphobia. And no, Andrew, that's not the fear of long, shapely legs. Gammaphobia is actually the fear of commitment.
Date dodger.
Gamophobia is the fear of getting close to people or making relationship decisions that have a long-lasting effect. Not just for lovers, commitment phobia can include fear of commitment across several dimensions of the feeling verse and can include fear of deep friendship and a reluctance to commit to a job or a career. Full disclosure, when we were picking our phobias for this episode, I had a hard time landing on one that I felt really good about. Then Andrew jokingly suggested that I indeed had a fear of commitment, and we all had a good long laugh. Then I thought about it for a while, and I figured for some reason it might just be a good choice. So, it's like Tom Jones used to sing, it's not unusual to fear the unknown. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. From PsychCentral.com, as medically reviewed by Dan Brennan, MD, the uncertainty of what awaits after making a big decision can make us feel unsure about what steps to take next. But for some people, this uncertainty turns to fear and may make them not want to make decisions at all. Choosing a college, signing a lease, quitting a job, and other big decisions can naturally lead to some anxiety. If you live with fear of commitment, though, these decisions are more difficult to make. As a result, they're often postponed and, in some instances, left to other people to make. Fear of commitment or long-term relationship anxiety could be linked to early experiences or even trauma. Hey, someone may fear commitment because they're afraid of being abandoned, hurt, betrayed, stuff like that. Eventually, however, someone who's afraid of commitment may get over the fear and may make a decision despite of it. Now, that's all well and good, but it's important to point out, sort of like Andrew mentioned previously, that fear of commitment isn't necessarily the same as commitment phobia. Phobias are a persistent, intense, and sometimes irrational fear of something. This excessive fear leads you to organize your life around it in order to avoid what you fear. They are a type of anxiety disorder. Someone living with it can experience high anxiety and panic attacks, even thinking about what they fear. So, while fear of commitment is something that many people deal with in their lives, gammaphobia is a much more intense affliction. Some common symptoms of fear of commitment include, but are certainly not limited to, speech. Commitment phobia folks often subconsciously overuse speech modifiers like might, probably, or if nothing comes up. They can also have a hard time throwing around the big L word of love and might be uncomfortable with relationship labels like girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, all those fun stuff. People that suffer from this phobia might have a hard time making or committing to plans, whether big or small. Another symptom is keeping conversations super casual. They might be unable to talk about the future of their relationship or become very anxious in doing so. Or they may talk about the future only as it pertains to themselves, leaving their partner out, not out of lack of feeling or anything like that, but just because it's an easier path than facing the fear. And so I went and I did all this reading about this thing, and I thought about it for a while. And for my personal experience with fear of commitment, I wouldn't categorize myself as someone who fears from extreme gamophobia. But all joking aside, reading through this stuff gave me flashbacks to my pre-married life / dating years. Late 20s, early 30s. And to this day, and I'm still working on it, I totally do the whole speech modifiers thing. And it's been a thing that I definitely try to stop. Even just when talking, even when setting up things like podcast recordings, I'll be like, yeah, I might be able to do that. I should be able to do that. We can probably do that. And it's interesting to try to be something to work through, even once you start talking about it and you realize it happens more. Yeah. Even though I'm a happily married man now, it took me a good while to get to a comfortable place with regards to talking about the future together. And just like being on the podcast, think about how many seasons we've done together. It's been 3 long seasons now. We're going into season 4. No pressure. So yeah, Gammaphobia.
Terrifying. Oh man, that's really scary. Why are you saying it like that?
It's just a little slice of what it's like in my brain sometimes, Andy.
Oh man, I certainly hope you didn't feel slighted or like kind of called out when I was like, you're afraid of commitment. I didn't.
I found it hilarious, and then I felt seen.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. Well, all right, Greg. Well, are you going to tell us about your Greg's subject for
Greg's fears?
Gregophobia.
Yeah. So my biggest fear, we kind of talked about it at the end of the last episode afterwards. So I'm gonna reiterate it a little bit. Thalassophobia is the persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the sea, oceans, pools, or lakes. Though very closely related, thalassophobia should not be mistaken with aquaphobia, which is classified as the fear of water itself.
Oh, I thought it was the fear of the band Aqua.
What?
Aqua are amazing.
Doesn't like aqua.
Yeah, that's not a phobia.
Researchers have proposed that the fear of large bodies of water is partly human evolutionary response and may also be related to popular cultural influences which induce fright and distress. The severity of thalassophobia, man, why did I have to pick such a hard one to say? The severity of thalassophobia and the signs and symptoms associated with it are quite fluid and complex. Those who suffer from thalassophobia go through numerous episodes of emotional and physical anguish caused by a variety of triggers. Treatment may comprise of a combination of therapy and anxiolytics, and is the most effective when administered to patients during childhood, when thalassophobia is generally at its peak. Anxiolytic is a medication or intervention that reduces anxiety or stress.
Ooh, a new word.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been many new words this evening.
Yeah.
And new friends, new
like
word
you guys
friends.
kind of covered everything that like what a phobia is and whatnot. And it's I don't have a fear of water, and I actually am a very good swimmer. I used to swim a lot when I was a kid, but
Flex.
But like, I am a really good swimmer, man. It's swimming in like deep waters that freaks me out. Like, like you go to like the world's like deepest pool. I'm not swimming in that. Sorry, man.
Is it maybe because you have a fear that a clown shark is going to come up and grab you? Snaky clown shark.
It's just this is where every horror movie starts, as you dive into the deepest water and
sharks in the water.
Stuff happens.
Or shark.
But dude, you grew up like you were like born on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean.
I was
right?
not
just right there on the beach.
I was actually born in the Great Prairies of Alberta and then moved out to the Atlantic shores of the
weed
beaches.
oceans.
Yeah, it's the weed oceans.
So you grew up right next to the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that has something to do with it?
I don't know what it has to do with it, but it's just, to me, like being out in the middle of the ocean, I'm hanging on to whatever I'm hanging on to, and I'm trying to not expose any part of my body to the water, because that shit just freaks me out.
Really?
Yeah. There's only like so little percentage of the ocean that's actually, been documented, and that things that we've seen, we don't know what's down there.
That was what Sequest was all about, man.
Yes,
That's absolutely. So what was this called again?
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different
guess
than
that-
Thalassophobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear of philosophy, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like falafel phobia, which I would assume would be. But nobody's scared of falafels. Come on.
No, man.
Oh, come on, it's terrible.
Those fluffy clouds of deliciousness.
Still haven't met a falafel I have liked.
I've had some awful falafel in my time, but for the most part, it's been
Falafelphobia.
pleasant falafel. Was that were you done
That's
there?
it, man. That's
Okay.
just don't go swimming in deep waters. That's it.
So if you can
That
see the
just seems
floor,
That just seems like good advice. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like this is Greg's crazy. You know, it seems like yeah, okay.
well,
At
I
least
think-
wear
I
a
think
life jacket.
That's what phobias are. You know, there was one little thing I saw that was like the phobia of chainsaws. Is the joke was like that common sense because you should be scared of chainsaws.
Yeah.
You know. And if something is like glowing in the dark and covered in weird, creepy organic fabric spikes, you shouldn't eat it because it's probably going to kill you. Yeah. And don't get in a relationship with
I was
Charlie.
gonna
'cause
say, or
gonna
if somebody
break your
wants to
heart.
love you for a very long time, run.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if someone gave me like a large amount of money, it's not like I wouldn't swim in the ocean, but I would I would only do
Yeah.
it for the only amount of time that I actually had to do it for.
Yeah,
It's like I'm not staying in this thing
you're not going out and doing laps.
Yeah.
So in a recent poll on our Facebook page, we put up this phobia poll. What are you afraid of? Do you have any phobias? And I threw up a couple, and then I just left it open for people to add their own. There was a couple of creative additions here. The number one fear in our group, so from our data set, the number one actually was tied for 3. Ooh. So heights, clowns, and this is a little heartbreaking, success. So those are those are the 3 biggest phobias.
But also, I get it.
Fear of success. That's a real thing. People hijack themselves all the time. These are followed closely by the fear of spiders, commitment, snacks. Andrew feeds us. I'm not sure who added that one. Drowning, enclosed spaces, technology, fire, incels, mice, falling. Somebody put poles, like they're afraid of poles.
Really freaked them out, bud.
Yeah. Oh dear Lord, little bugs boring into my skin and eating me alive.
Yep, that's a nope.
Yeah. Clocks and fast rushing waters. So, and actually the lady that wrote that there, I know her, and she grew up in not on the Pacific
Niagara
Ocean,
Falls.
but she grew up in like Penticton, Shuswaps. Yeah, so like super deep lakes, man. Something about these lake people. And that's what the Hobbit's all about, man. You're from Lake Town, and your grandfather forged the arrow that will one day shoot down Smog.
Cool.
Right then, Frady Cats. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We sure do appreciate your friendship, and we fear that you won't return, so you have to promise to come back. But we're not going to push it. We're just, if you want to, that's cool. But if you don't want to, that's all right. But I hope you do. You probably won't. Oh, no. We will be back with season 4, which is crazy to think about, on September 5th. And I cannot believe the summer has flown by this fast and that we are right around the corner from the fall. In the erstwhile, there's another new word. In the erstwhile, if you need some It's a Conspiracy chuckles in your special heart, then please check out all of the past casts and social stuff at it'saconspiracypodcast.com. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you soon, and take care.
Bye.
See you never.